I think we're almost here. Greetings, everyone. Hare Krishna, greetings and Haribol from Crikvenica. Yeah. Now, the thing is, I want to get this other microphone going, but we had this problem before. It doesn't show. Why doesn't it show? We have a special microphone, but it's not working. Why it's not working, I don't know. It's supposed to work. It worked once, doesn't work now. What if we try plug? Also not. Yeah, we don't know what's the problem. Okay, so I will skip that. Turn it off. And turn this off. So much for technology. We can try the opal mic. I don't know if that's better. Okay. Greetings and Hare Krishna, everyone, online and in person. We have a nice group of devotees here who have come all the way from Rijeka and Zagreb.
No, yeah, no.
Oh, right, okay. And from whatever that place is. I don't know the name.
Shmarika.
Shmarika? Shmarika. Where do you live? I live in Shmarika. Okay. Sounds like a special place. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamahyam Tadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuddha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Apadruyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Avaneyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Hey Krishna, Karana Sindhu, Dinabandhu Jagatpate, Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta, Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. Today we are going to, welcome. Hare Krishna. You're just in time. We have quite a crowd here in Crikvenica. And we're going to go through reading and translating and then singing Srila Narottama Thakur's Nityananda Nistha, song number 1, Mana Shiksha. And this is from Prarthana. No, we sang this song already. That was last week. Okay, so we can review it very briefly. Nityananda Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushi Pala Jechayai Jagat Judai. Yes, remember, this is describing Nityananda Prabhu as his lotus feet being like not one moon or 2 moons, but millions of moons. And especially in India, especially this time of year, it gets really hot. And the light of the moon at night is understood to be cooling. That's the understanding. So if you have 1 moon, especially a full moon, very cooling, multiply by koti, which can mean a lot, or it can mean technically 10 million, then it's very, very cooling. And what is cooling? The Kamala Pada, the lotus feet of Nityananda. And then you could say the rest of the song is explaining why this is so, why it's the case. Jumping to verse 3, there's this interesting expression, ahankare mattahoya nitai padapasarya ashattere shatta korimani. Prabhupada's translation, being maddened after false prestige, ahankare matta hoya, and identification with the body. Identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. The result is that he is accepting something false to be true. So that's Prabhupada's kind of dramatic way of translating asatteri satya korimani. So one is regarding money as satya, that which is asatya. Asatteri satya korimani. Yeah, which reminds me of, there's a sutra in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which is the definition of avidya. And it says, let's see, avidya is, what is it? Ajnana, asuchi, dukha, anatmasu. Not ajnana. Asatya, Hare Krishna, asatya, anitya, dukha, anatmasu. No, not satya, nitya. Now I remember. So anitya suchi means asuchi. Dukha anatmasu, nitya suchi, sukha. Oh, now somebody can stretch out. Yeah, nitya suchi, sukha atmakyatir avidya. Okay, we got it. It means, what is avidya? What is not knowing or ignorance? It's considering that what is temporary, anitya, or to be eternal, to consider something that's impure as pure, to consider something that's suffering to be happiness, and to consider that which is not the self, anatmasu, as the self, that is ignorance. So it's a little definition from the Yoga Sutras. So here, asatyare satya kori mani, thinking to be true something which is not true, or thinking something that exists to be, thinking that something that doesn't exist as existing. So Prabhupada's translation, he says, oh, what is Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. And then the result is that he is accepting something false to be true. And that's his explanation. Yeah. Okay. And then in the next verse, Nitayer charana satya tahara sevaka nitya nitai parasada kuro asha. So the charana, the feet, the lotus feet of Nityananda are satya, they're real. And tahar means of him. Tahar sevaka, the seva, the service of him. Nitya, it is eternal. Nitai pada shada koro asha. So the hope, koro is the imperative, do it. So make the hope, the aspiration, always to be the feet of Nityananda. So the whole song is about Nityananda's feet, special feet. Yeah, this is a strange religion. You worship feet a lot. All right, that was last week. Okay, this week we have over here. Yeah. Okay, today. Okay, so we had Nityananda Nistha, and now we have Gauranga Nistha. Also from Prarthana. Bhai, Bhaja, Mora, Gauranga charana, na bhajiyā, moinu, dukhe, dubi griha visha kūpe, dagdha koilo pāńca parān. Oh, brother, Bhai. Oh, brother, please worship the lotus feet of Lord Gauranga. I have not worshipped them but instead have dived into the poisonous well of materialistic household life. Bhaja Mora Gauranga charan na bhajiyā moinu dukhe dube griha visha kūpe. Kūpa is a well, and visha means poison, and dubi griha. Can we turn off the microphones? Thank you. Yeah, I've dived into the poisonous well of materialistic household life, and as a result, dagdha, koilo, pāńca, parān, and as a result, my 5 life airs are burning with the poison of material life. Dagdha koilo. Dagdha means burned or scorched, fried, spridgen. Dagdha koilo. It means it's already happened. It's past tense. Pāńca parāna, and there's this little stretching syllable. The word is prana, and it becomes parāna, just to give another syllable for singing. Tāpa troy ānale, ahar-niśi, hiyā, jvale, deho sada hoy achetana. Ripu vasha indriya hoilo, gora pada pasarilo. Vimukha koilo Narottama. Day and night, ahar-niśi, I burn in the poisonous fire of the threefold miseries of material life. Tapatraya visha ānale. Ānale is burning or fire, I think. And hiyā means the heart, from hrid, ridi, rida. Hiyā, jvale is burning. Deho sada hoy achetana. And as a result, I faint again and again, achetana. Sada hoy achetana. I'm always fainting. Ripuvasha indriya hoilo gora pada pasarilo. My senses are overwhelmed by lust, greed, and numberless other enemies. And I am averse to the great treasure that is the lotus feet of Lord Gauranga. So treasure is dana, and vimukha. Mukha means the face. Vimukha means turned away. The face is turned away. So I am averse. I've rejected the treasure, the dana. Hano dana, such a treasure. And let's see. My senses are overwhelmed by lust. Ripu vasha indriya koilo. Yeah, the force, vasha, of the indriyas. Ripu means enemy. That's not in the translation. Gora pada pasarilo. Oh, yeah, it is. Numberless other enemies. Ripu vasha indriya hoilo gora. So he always, in this, not always, but more than once, Gora is here spelled Gora. It's referring to Lord Chaitanya, and I don't know why, but sometimes he's referred to as Gora with a long last A, Gora. That's how it is here. Gora padapasarila. Vimukha koilo henodan. Hano gora doyamoy. This is verse 3. Chari shaba lajabhoy. Kai mone lohare shorono. Pamara durmati chilo. Tare gora udharilo. Tara koilo potita bhavana. Oh, brother, give up all fear and shyness. Chari shablaja, boy. So boy is fear, laja is shyness or embarrassment. Chari, give it up. And take shelter of merciful Lord Gauranga. Heno gora doya amoy. So here this we have an example of M short A, Y short A, maya, not maya, which means illusion or magic, but maya. And doya means mercy, so doya, maya means full of mercy or consisting of, constituted of mercy. Hano Gora, such a Gora who is doyamai. Kai mone lohare sharana, take shelter of him. Lord Gauranga rescues those who are most wicked at heart. Hamara durmati chilo tare gora udharilo. And therefore he is known as Potito Bhavana, the savior of the fallen. So Pamara means fallen, and Durmati means, I think, literally bad-minded, so kind of evil-minded. And Chilo is the past tense of the verb to be. So it just means was or has been. Someone who has been very fallen and low-minded, you could say. Tar gora udharilo. He is uplifted by gora. Tara koilo potita pavana. Potita means fallen, and pavana means purifying. So he purifies. He is the purifier, or tara hoilo. He has become pure. No, he has been delivered. Patita Pavana has delivered him. Okay, and the last verse, Gora Dvija Nataraje Bandhaho Hridoyamaje Ki Koribe Shongshara Shaman Narottama Dasa Kohe Gora Sham Keho Nohe Nabajite De Manda. If you place Lord Gauranga, the Brahmana king of dancers, within your heart, then what will death be able to do to you? Ki koribe shomshara shamani. So that's a rhetorical question. Ki koribe. What can be done? Whenever somebody asks you, Or ki korbe. Actually, modern Bengali, it would be ki korbe. Ki korbo, what should I do? Ki korben, what should you, formal, you do? Okay, Gora Dvija Natarache. So he is Dvija, which means twice born, Brahman. And Nataraja, he is the king of dancers. Bandhaho, this seems to be imperative form, do it. What should you do? You should bind. It translates as place, but I think it's bind. You should bind in the middle of your heart. Maje means in the middle. So not the side of the heart or in the back of the heart or below the heart, but in the middle of the heart. Gora Dvija Nataraje Bandhaho Pridaya Maje Kikor Ibe Shangshara Shaman. Shangshara, repetition of birth and death. And shaman, I think, could mean subdue. I'm not sure. Narottama Das Kohe, Narottama Das says, there is no one equal to Lord Gauranga. Narottama Das Kohe, Gora Sam Keho Na. Sam means equal, and Keha is a question. Who? It seems like a sort of double negative. Who is not equal to Gora? Seems like it should say who is equal to Gora? No one. Na bhajite de premadan. Even if one will not become his devotee, na bhajite, still Lord Gauranga will freely give him the treasure, the dhamma of love for Krishna. De prema dan. That's interesting. Even if you don't worship Nityananda, he will give you prema. That's a good deal. Okay, shall we try this with musical accompaniment?
Guru Maharaj, musician is on.
First line without percussion.
Musician is on.
Bhaja Mora Gauranga Bhaja Mora Gauranga bhajiyā moinu dukhe
Guru Maharaj? Guru Maharaj?
dagdha koilo pāńca parān
Guru Maharaj, can you hear me? Guru Maharaj?
It's too high for me.
Guru Maharaj? Maharaj?
ahar-niśi, jvale. ahar-niśi, hiyā. Oh, I have to switch the sound. Thank you. Yeah, that was pretty good. Let's. Now it should work. Deho Sanga Bhai ache Deho Sanga Bhai ache gaurāńga pasarino India hoino Mora pada pasarino Imuka koilo and Mora Okay. Good. Srila Narottama Das Thakur ki jai. And here's more about Srila Narottama Das Thakur from the sacred biography, we can say, composed by Srimati Sitala Devi. So, as we were reading last week, Narottama is meeting Lokanath Goswami. Lokanath is sitting in Vrindavan, and what is he doing? He's absorbed in chanting, meditation, apparently. And Jiva Goswami has brought him to see him. And Narottama, just seeing Lokanath, decides, yes, he's the one. He is my guru. He has this full conviction entering his heart. And he asked Jiva Goswami, will he accept me? And Jiva Goswami says, I'm afraid not. He has taken a vow not to accept disciples. In fact, he rarely even talks with anyone. Narottama says, but, I've already accepted him as my guru. And he says to Jiva Goswami, can I meet him? Please let me meet him, of course. And Jiva Goswami comes forward to Lokanath and announces, the son of the king of Keturi, Narottama, has just arrived from Bengal. And Lokanath looks up from his meditation, and Narottama comes forward, and he falls at Lokanath's feet. And Jiva Goswami says, this young boy's acute renunciation, his intense renunciation and devotion is inconceivable. He reminds me of Mahaprabhu with his golden complexion and trembling body. And Lokanath smiles brightly at Narottama. Tears are in his eyes, and he says, I knew you would come. It was revealed to me in a dream last night. A lot of dreams in this story. Narottama has dreams along the way, and now Lokanath also has a dream. Narottama's hair stands on end, just being in the presence of Lokanath Goswami, and he kneels down before him, and he's shaking and he's speechless. And then Jiva Goswami invites Lokanath to take prasadam with them at the Govindaji Mandir. And to Narottama's delight, Sri Lokanath agrees. He says, okay, I'll come. So now they're going, three of them, to the Govinda temple. And Narottama can hardly believe it's happening, that he's actually with Jiva Goswami. He's with Lokanath Goswami. And he thinks, he's worried that maybe it's a dream and he's going to wake up and he's going to be in the palace of his father. So he's reflecting about how wonderful this is. And here I am, I'm walking now with these exalted acharyas. And he's remembering that Jiva Goswami went on parikrama of Navadvip with Nityananda Prabhu himself. And so he's marveling at this. He was talking, he was walking with Nityananda Prabhu himself. Narottama bends down and he scoops up some of the earth from the footprints of those two great souls, and he sprinkles it on his head and thinks, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually embraced Sri Lokanath Goswami with his own arms. These devotees are players in the great epic of Sri Chaitanya's transcendental Leela. And here I am, the most fallen, insignificant soul, stumbling along behind him. And so then they come to the Govindaji Mandir, and they're seated for taking prasad together. And Narottama is feeling strange, sitting next to these great souls. He hesitates to sit, but Sri Jiva Goswami gestures for him, just as Ishodhyan used to say in Oxford, sit, eat. I remember. He was helping us. Which year was that? Which year were you there?
It was 2000 and 2001.
Oh, quite some time ago. During the meal, Jiva Goswami asked Narottama to tell Sri Lokanath Goswami how he came to Vrindavan. And Narottama shyly relates how he received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Padmavati Devi, from the river. And he concludes the story saying, actually, I have no right to sit with you and eat prasad. I do not even have a guru. So he's kind of already hinting at what he's concerned about. And then Narottama is surprised when Lokanath Goswami laughs heartily, and he says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Guru of the universe, has given you divine love, the same love most devotees pray to attain their entire lives. What more do you want? What is the value of having another guru? Uh-oh. Prabhu, Narottama says humbly, if you permit me, I would like to explain why I want to be initiated and why it is you that I want as my spiritual master. Now, I don't know if it was exactly like this, but according to Sitala Devi's description, I say this because they're taking prasadam. So normally that would not be something approaching the guru while you're sitting next to them taking prasadam. Anyway, Lokanath nods, encouraging him to speak. It is true, says Narottama, that Mahaprabhu is the only real guru. But it is his order that I take initiation from you. The Lord personally told me this in a dream. At which point Lokanath says, oh, that was a bogus dream. No, just kidding. He doesn't say that. Seeing that Lokanath was unmoved by this, Narottama continues, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the spiritual master of the whole world. Still, the Lord himself set the example of accepting a spiritual master, and all the Lord's associates and followers also accepted spiritual masters, the spiritual master's orders, are the life and soul of the disciple. Simply by following the spiritual master's order, a disciple attains all perfection. And he goes on like that. A guru guides his disciple in practical spiritual life. I have no guru, so who will guide me on the path of devotion? Unless one serves a pure devotee, he cannot attain liberation by directly serving Krishna. He must serve the servant of Krishna. Who has ever been elevated without rendering service to a pure devotee, a pure Vaishnava? And now, what do you suppose Lokanath will say? He says, yes, certainly a guru is required, but one must find a qualified guru. I cannot even become a devotee myself, so how can I help you? Oh. Please, Prabhu, Narottama begs. People call me a prince, but actually I'm a beggar. I have renounced the world and I've come here in the hope of finding Krishna. But I'm like a ship without a rudder. I am not able to find the path along which I should travel. It's not possible to find Krishna without the mercy of the Guru. Now, how does Lokanath respond to that? He waves his hand dismissively and says, the scriptures recommend that an aspiring disciple chant the holy names of Krishna for at least 1 year before he is eligible for initiation. Narottama just nods and says no more. He accepts this as the first order from his spiritual master. So, Srila Narottama Das Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, greetings everyone. Welcome everyone. Nice to see you all. Daityesha and Manibandha and Lima Mai and Tiralita and Arunadai Shri and Udarya Chandrika and Charlotte and Tia and Esther and Ananda Mai and Narayani and Sitarani and Simantadvip and Boma Vrindavan and Mangala Chandrika and Udarya Janani and Padma Malini and Prema Sarovara and Amrita Lahari and Pandit Vrindapati. Yes, he's a Pandit. And Sharada Tilaka and Valeria and let's see, Dominique. I'm forgetting who is Dominique. And who else? And many others. Amogha Bhakti and Shravana Ramaniya and Somya Karani and Dharmagupta and Madhyana-līlā and Padma Manjari and Smarahari and Susanna means Sita, I think, or it's Susanna downstairs, not sure. And Mahima Mayi and Katyayani and Ratnavali and Tade. Tade, are you there? Because you're no longer Tade.
Yes, I'm here.
Can we see you?
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Let's see. Oh, there you are. Okay. So we'd like to offer congratulations to Ramatirtha Das for initiation just a few days ago.
Haribo.
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 We have this universal language, the Haribo language. Yes, and who else? We have Rasadari Hari and Kike and Krishna Ragini and Madai Jivan and Lotaro and SD, I'm not sure who that is, and Subal Gopal and Analakshita. Greetings, Analakshita. You're in Lithuania. Let's see if she's there. What news, Analakshita? And Anupama and Kavari and Pradyumna and Vishaka and Sri Krishna Shakti. And I think we got everyone. Welcome. Welcome to all of you. So show and tell time. Who has some news? Any news, any birthdays, any crazy things happened this week? A lot of crazy things in the news. If you're wondering what crazy things are going on, just look at the news and you'll see plenty of crazy things. Some very, very great. In the news, there's basically crazy, more crazy, and most crazy, right? Indeed. Okay. No news? Anyone? Aruna Sri, how are you doing? He's trying to get the phone. Yes. You're on, I think. Whoops, we don't hear you yet. There, now it's working. Okay.
Pranam Guru Maharaj, my koti pranam. My pranam Guru Maharaj.
Thank you. Okay. All is well?
All is well. Thank you with your mercy and Krishna's grace. Yes, all is well.
Okay, good. Yeah, one little news from us. Yesterday, we had a very nice program at a hotel. What's the name of that hotel? Balatura. It's a hotel which is in a building which was built 300 years ago. And a very nice group of people, very attentively listening. And the program was in the form of an interview with the owner of the hotel. She and her husband run this place, and they do a kind of cultural event once a week. They have different guests talking about whatever they're into. So, and what kind of impressed me was she really prepared herself by kind of doing some research about who am I. She watched this film that we made about the Bhagavatam, India's book of wisdom, and she liked the film very much. And yeah, it was kind of, everything was there except chanting Hare Krishna. we didn't really, you sort of want a complete program, but okay. And Jug and Mangala and Susanna arranged that I wear professor's clothes. I was introduced as Professor so-and-so. And so they went shopping, 2 days before, and they got the clothes, and I tried them on, and then there was change of one thing. Yeah, it was a big action, just so I look somehow like I'm civilized, I guess. Did I look civilized? Mandali is here, and she's the style. She's our official clothes style expert, right? She's a clothes designer, fashion designer. We say, yeah, not fashion. Okay. All right. What else? Do I have any books to show? I suppose I could show one book which I'm making use of in my book writing. It's an academic book. It was written by one of my professors, Barbara Holdridge, one of my first professors when I went back to university. She wrote a book called Bhakti and Embodiment. And then the subtitle is Fashioning Divine Bodies and Devotional Bodies in Krishna Bhakti. And it's a very interesting study of, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, where she studied the works of Jiva Goswami, and she studied, I would say, all of the Gaudiya Vaishnava literature, the main texts, and she made an analysis of them in a certain kind of way, using, let's say, some modern or postmodern scholarship that's been written in recent years on the concept of the body. What is the body? There's a lot of sociology, anthropology, religious studies. What do we mean when we say body? It's not just this physical body. There's so much more to it. There's a culture in which we exist with our bodies, and we are interacting with culture. So she takes some of that theory and then she expands it to say, well, all of that talk is from a Western perspective. Now I'm going to give you something from Indian perspective. And as an example, so to say, she takes the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, and she does it in a very thorough, I would say, quite thorough way. Actually, I was one of the reviewers for this book before it was published. As an academic book, books typically go to a peer reviewer to judge, is this, up to standard? And so I was asked to review the book for publishing. And of course, being completely unbiased, because she's my professor, I, of course, agreed. Okay. Govindananda. Oh, this Govindananda. Welcome, Govindananda. And welcome, Sita Sundari. Okay. And, I should say to Rasundari, we did sell some books last night. Yeah. How many books?
7 to 10.
7 to 10 books. That's quite, yeah. All right. What else? What else? We can do some reading. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Maybe. Oh, before I forget. Next Wednesday, let me share the link. Next Wednesday, for whoever wants to join at 6 p.m., we're going to watch a documentary film, and I'm sharing the link. The film is about environmentalism. Where's the chat? Everything's here except the chat. Oh, show chat. Here we go. And group chat. Yeah, okay. Okay, I just sent the link. I hope you see that. The title of this film, I have not seen it yet myself. I saw the trailer for it, which you can see on YouTube. It's called Kiss the Earth. Yeah, and it's a quite, you know how trailers are. They make it all look very exciting. But I've been told that it is a good film, and Srimati Gandhini Devi I think she's in California now, is offering that we see the film through her Netflix account. So I don't know how it works. She's going to make it available through this Zoom link. So that's going to be at 6 p.m. on Wednesday. And she said, yes, everyone is welcome to join, whoever wants to.
European time, Guru Maharaj.
At 6 p.m.
Yeah,
European time.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe then whoever watches it on Wednesday, we can, maybe that can be a subject of discussion next Saturday. Could be. Did I tell you last week? I think I did. Maybe I didn't. We did a little 15-minute presentation for the communications conference on environmentalism. Did I tell that last week? Yes. Okay, I won't repeat myself. Okay, that now I've done that announcement. The next thing was I was going to take one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. And for this, I will share the screen. Okay. And this is a verse coming, the context is that the four Kumaras have just had darshan, or are having darshan with Lord Vishnu. They've gone through the 6 gates, they've come to the 7th, they've had some exchange with Jai and Vijay. There's been a bit of trouble, and Vishnu himself comes, and when they see Lord Vishnu, they are wonderstruck, as we might say. There's a famous verse, just 2 verses before this, about them seeing and smelling, especially smelling the tulsi at the feet of the Lord, tasyara vinda nayanasya padara vinda, and how it enters their nostrils, which I always think is interesting kind of twist, because they're entering Vaikuntha, but then they're obstructed. And then what happens is the aroma of the tulsi enters the channels of their noses. It actually says that explicitly. Tasyara vinda nayanasya padaravind kinjalta mishra tulasi makaranda vayu antargata savivarena chakaratesham sankshobam akshara jushamati chitta tanvo. They're sankshobam, they get completely, we have a word in English, discombobulated. All shaken up, discombobulated. But the point is that where there was an obstruction for them to come in, now there's no obstruction to meeting the Lord, beginning with the tulsi and the aroma of the tulsi entering into their noses through the passages, antargata, going inside, svavivara, through their own nostrils. Okay, then 2 verses later, we have this. Pungsangating mrigayatam ihayoga margair jnanaspadam bahumatam nayanabidamam pungsnang vapurdashayanam ananyasidhair otpattikai samagrinan yutam ashtabogai. This is the form of the Lord which is meditated upon by the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary, but factual, as proved by great yogis. The Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement, but for others, these achievements are not possible in full perfection. This is Canto 3, Chapter 15, verse 45. I'm kind of struck by this verse because of the specific reference to yoga. Yoga margai, by those on the path of yoga. So it's actually giving very, very specific description, dhyānaspadam, for dhyana, for meditation, for a yogi. You want to meditate, you want to do dhyana, here's how to do it, or here's the object of that meditation. Pungsnang vapur darshayanam ananya siddhair. This form, this vapu, it's real, as Prabhupada says in the translation. It's not imaginary. It's real. And therefore, nayana abhiramam, it is pleasing to the eyes. So the sense is that they're actually meeting the Lord face to face. Prabhupada would often say, you can meet the Lord face to face. And so here it is, they're meeting him face to face. And it's not imaginary. Let's see, eternally present. Oh, and also the Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement. Ashtabogai. Ashtaboga, we usually think means enjoyment. Here it's translated as achievements, 8 achievements. So one way of thinking about this is, as we know in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is referred to Yatra Yogeshvaro Krishna. Krishna is Yogeshvara. He is the Lord, the master of yoga. And in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, most of the third pada, the Vibhuti pada, out of the 4 parts of the Yoga Sutras, is describing all the perfect siddhis that one can attain by practicing certain forms of samyama. Samyama means fixed attention, complete yama, samyama. And also, because I've been kind of studying the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, there's an interesting section in the first pada. The Yoga Sutra, part 1, verse 23, says, Ishvara pranidhanat va. Ishvara pranidhanat va. The va means or, and Ishvara means Ishvara, the Lord, and pranidhana means worship or devotion. So Patanjali is saying one way of practicing concentration yoga, specifically for achieving samadhi, in fact, sampragyata samadhi, is to meditate on the Lord. But he doesn't say Krishna pranidhana or Vishnu or Shiva. He just says Ishvara, leaving it open. Whoever you want to take as Ishvara, you can meditate on that Lord. But he goes on to give some more specifics about this, this Lord. He says, Klesha karma vipaka shayyair aparamrishta purusha vishesha ishvara. The Lord is a vishesha purusha. He's a special soul. Purusha vishesha. So we're all purushas, whether you like it or not. And we're all purusha, and the Lord is purusha vishesha. He is untouched, amrishta, by the obstacles to the practice of yoga. He's untouched by karma. He's untouched by the fructification of karma, vipaka. Vipaka, paka means cooked. Vipaka also means cooked. Really cooked. Yeah. So klesha, and klesha means afflictions. And later in the Yoga Sutras, he's going to list the kleshas and explain them more. But here he just says briefly, no kleshas, no karma vipaka, apara amrishta. He's not touched, apara amrishta. He's not touched by any. So he's giving some very minimal description of the Supreme Lord, sort of just enough for a general yoga audience, you could say. But then he says, Tatra niratishayam sarvagya bijam. This is Sutra 25. In him, in Ishvara, the seed, the bijam of omniscience, sarvagya, is near atishayam. It is unsurpassed. No one knows more than God. It's a way of, it's a kind of negative way of saying he knows everything. And then he says, do you want to know what else he says? He says, Purvesham api guru kalena anavachedat. Ishvara was also the teacher of the ancients because he is not limited by time. So that sounds like Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, right? Krishna is saying, I taught this to the sun god, who taught it to his son, and then it got lost. Now I'm teaching it to you again. Sa eva yamaya tenya. So here, Patanjali, who is usually dated as later than the Gita in terms of mundane historical analysis, it sounds like he's read the Bhagavad Gita, but he's just hinting. Okay, so then how do we worship? If it says Ishvara Pranidhan, then how do we worship him? He tells us how we can worship him. He doesn't say chant Hare Krishna. He says Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. The name designating him is the mystical syllable Om. And then he says, Tat japas, tat artha bhavanam, its repetition and the contemplation of its meaning should be performed. He comes back, oh yeah, and this is another, still on this subject of Ishvara Pranidhan. He says, Tata pratyak chetanadigamo api antaraya bhavas cha. From this comes the realization of the inner consciousness and freedom from all disturbances. So he's giving a result here. So what do I get by worshiping God? For the yogis, here's what you get. And then he's going to list what the disturbances are. And then it kind of goes on from there to other options for fixing the mind. Anyway, the point is, what do we get in the Bhagavatam here in this third canto? The four Kumaras, they're yogis, and now they're getting the full opportunity, the full perfection of their meditation. I won't go into the purport, but Prabhupada speaks about yoga and false yoga and modern so-called yoga and so on. So that's something you can read by yourselves. Okay, so you can imagine the four Kumaras are there with Lord Vishnu. There's a nice painting also of this. I don't know who did the painting, but it's quite charming. It shows these four little naked boys sort of looking up and being amazed, and Vishnu, who's looking down on them in a very sort of fatherly way. Okay. All right. Otherwise, we have Chaitanya Charitamrita. And let's see if I have that ready. One moment. Okay. Share screen. All right. we're continuing to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Beta Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Beta Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Beta Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We're continuing with ahar-niśi chapter 15 and the departure of Jagannath Mishra to Paraloka, to the other world, has just been mentioned. Actually, I wanted to read, I looked in Chaitanya Bhagavata to see if anything more is describing this. And this is Adi-khanda 8, 1 second. Adi-khanda chapter 8, Mishra Paraloka Gamana. And it's quite brief. Vrindavan says, 1 second. He says, yeah, verse 109. A few days passed in this way. Just previous to this is the mention, which is also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, of Mahaprabhu having a dream of Vishvarupa, his brother, having come to him in a dream and said, "You should also take sannyas." And he says, "No, I can't do that. I'm going to take care of my parents." And so Sachimata is relieved when he reports that to her. So that's been going on. And now it says, a few days passed in this way. Then, in his eternal spiritual form, Jagannath Mishra disappeared from this world. As Lord Ramachandra wept at King Dasharatha's departure from this world, so Lord Chaitanya bitterly wept on Jagannath Mishra's departure. Lord Chaitanya's irresistible attractiveness saved Mother Shachi's life. And then he says, these descriptions sadden me. Therefore, I have spoken briefly. So this is Vrindavana's Thakura. I'm reading from Chaitanya Bhagavat, not from Chaitanya Charitamrita. You were looking for it. No, that's I'm going back to Chaitanya Charitamrita, but little interlude here from Chaitanya Bhagavat, because it mentions in one verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita about the departure of Jagannath Mishra. Here is only 3 verses. And then Vrindavan says, Vrindavan Das Thakur says, these descriptions sadden me, therefore I have spoken briefly. So he doesn't want to talk about that anymore. That's the point. Okay, in ahar-niśi 1524, maybe we read this already. Bandhu bandava ashidungha prabodhila pitrikriya vidhimate ishvara korila. Friends and relatives came there to pacify Lord Chaitanya and his mother. then Lord Chaitanya, even though he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, executed the rituals for his dead father according to the Vedic system. So it says vidhi mate. Vidhi means rules, what's to be done. Especially in terms of ritual procedures. That's called vidhi. And vidhi mate, according to the rules. And he says, Pitri kriya vidhi mate ishvara koilo. So he's kind of reminding us who is Lord Chaitanya. He is the Supreme Lord. And yet, and that's brought out in Prabhupada's translation, even though he is the Supreme Lord, he performed the rituals for his father. In other words, he performed the standard rituals that a son performs for his father. And we remember this was the relationship that his father, Ishvara Puri, was emphasizing so much. He is my son, I have to discipline him. And the devas, and they're coming in dreams and telling him, you can't treat him that way. He is the Lord, he is special. And Jagannath Mishra is saying, maybe he is the Lord, I don't care. He's my son, I have to discipline him. So now, as his son, after the father has left, he's keeping that mood, he's keeping that bhava of son-father relationship, and performing the last rites. And he's going to continue that when he goes to Gaya. He goes, after some time, to Gaya to perform the rituals there for his father. And of course, that's when he meets Ishvara Puri, and he comes back a changed person. Okay, verse 25. Kotodine Prabhu chitte koilo chintan grihastha ilam ebe chahi grihadharm. After some days, the Lord thought, I did not take sannyas, and since I am remaining at home, it is my duty to act as a grihastha. Otodine, after some days, Prabhu chitte korila chintan, he was chintana, he was thinking, he was reflecting. Grihastha ilam, I remained a householder. Ebe chahi griha dharma. I want to do griha dharma. I want to perform griha dharma. Since I'm a grihastha, I should do griha dharma. And what is that? It means getting married. Grihini vina griha dharma na hoy shoban atto chinti vivaha korite hoylaman. Without a wife, Lord Chaitanya considered, there's no meaning to householder life. Thus, the Lord decided to marry. So he's reflecting like this. Without a grihini, translated here as wife, could be translated as housewife. We have in the English language this rather patriarchal expression, housewife, which gives the idea the wife always just stays at home. What does she do there? She cooks and she cleans and she raises the kids.
Kuchanitsa. In English, kuchanitsa.
Kuchanitsa. Same thing. Yeah. So, eta chinti, and there's this little apostrophe, which means it's substituting for a Y and a long A, chintiya. which is the it's called the gerund form. So thinking thus, eta chinti vivaha korite hoiloma. Thought I should get married. And now comes a Sanskrit verse, which doesn't say the source. Na griham ityahur grihini griham uchate taya hi sahita sarvam purushartam samashnute. Merely a house is not a home, for it is a wife who gives a home its meaning. If one lives at home with his wife, together they can fulfill all the interests of human life. Purushartam samashnute. And it's na griham iti ahur. It is said, grihini griham uchate. It is said. So that's a kind of one of these Sanskrit sayings. It might be just a general saying that no source is known. It's like, just a common saying. Daive ekadina prabhu padiya asite balabacharjer annadeke gangapate. One day, when the Lord was coming back from school, he accidentally saw the daughter of Vallabhacharya on the way to the Ganga. I think I may have said this before. I do not believe this can be referring to the Vallabhacharya of the Vallabha Sampradaya. Although it's interesting that Krishnadas Kaviraj specifically says Vallabhacharya. The name Vallabha could be quite common, and there could be more than one Vallabhacharya. There could have been a local, teacher named Vallabha. But this, I would highly doubt that this can refer to the Vallabhacharya of the Pushti Marga, the Vallabha Sampradaya that's known in Western India. In any case, now comes a very brief moment of romance. Daive, it says, and Prabhupada translates accidentally. Daiva means by divine arrangement, literally. Ekodin, one day, Prabhu Padiya Asite, after studying, while he was coming back, Vallabhacharya Kanya, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, Deke, seeing Gangapate on the way to the Ganga. Purva Siddha Bhava Dunghar Uday Korila Daive Vanamali Katak Shachistani Aila. When the Lord and Lakshmi Devi met, their relationship awakened, having already been settled. And coincidentally, the marriage maker Vanamali came to see Shachimata. So again, we have this word accidentally, which in the word for word, daive, and then in the translation, coincidentally. What happens? This connection between Lakshmi Devi and Vishvambar is awakened, udoy. So they met before. We maybe remember when they were younger, they met on the bank of the Ganga, and there was a kind of playful romantic exchange at that time. And now it's being awakened. That relation which was already felt at that earlier time is now awakened. Daive, at the same time, accidentally, it just so happens by the arrangement of the devas, Vanamali Ghatak, he's a Ghataka. A Ghataka is a marriage maker. Now, I can't say this for sure, but I believe the word Ghata means pot. And Ghataka would be a pot maker. So I don't know what to make of that. Could it be that his profession was that he was, maker of clay pots? Or somehow it also has the meaning of matchmaker, marriage maker. I don't know. Shachir ingite shambanda koilo gatan. Lakshmike vivaha koilo shachiranandan. Following the indications of Sachi Devi, Vanamali Ghataka arranged the marriage, and thus, in due course, the Lord married Lakshmi Devi. So that will be elaborated in the Chaitanya Bhagavata of Vrindavan Das Thakur, but Krishna Das is going to say, it's already been described elsewhere, Vistariya Varnila Taha Vrindavana Das. He's very explicit here. Vistariya, extensively elaborated, Varnila, described, Taha Vrindavana Dasa, Eta Paugaṇḍa-līlā Sutra Prakasha. Vrindavan Das Thakur has elaborately described all these pastimes of the Lord's early age. What I have given is but a condensed presentation of the same pastimes. Why? Because his task that the devotees have given him is to elaborate on the later pastimes. But he wants also to be complete, and therefore he's also mentioning briefly these young, early pastimes. And he says pretty much the same in the next verse, Paugaṇḍa-līlā bahuta prakar Vrindavana Dasa iha koryachen vistar. The Lord performed many varieties of pastimes in his early age, and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has described them elaborately. Ataeva dinmatra iha dekaila Chaitanya Mangale sarvaloke kato hoilo. I have given but a single hint of these pastimes, for Vrindavan Das Thakur in his book Chaitanya Mangala, now Chaitanya Bhagavata, has described them all vividly. Sarvaloke khyata hoilo. It's known all over the world, the Chaitanya Mangala. Seems to be anticipated. And finally, Shrupa Raghunatha Parejara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade, so in the feet, Jaro Asha, in whose expectation, Asha is hope or expectation. So with hope and expectation of whom, Jara, I, Krishnadas, Kohe, I speak Chaitanya Charitamrita. So actually he's saying, he's not saying I'm writing this. He's saying, I'm speaking it. Kohe. Otherwise, it would be like or something, but it's kohe. So he is, I mean, we know he wrote it, but it seems he wants that as it's read, we'll get the sense of him speaking it, not that we're just only reading. Okay, that was chapter 15. And the next chapter, which we can take up next time, Pastimes of the Lord in his childhood and youth. Again, which is going to be summarizing very much what is otherwise much more elaborately described in Chaitanya Bhāja. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. So let's see if there are any comments. Dear Lalita, you have a question. Do you want to speak your question?
Yes, very much. I can speak my question. I have an impression after reading about the four Kumaras in the third canto of Bhagavatam that they were meditators or yogis on Lord Vishnu's or Krishna's effulgence. So I was just wondering what prompted them to see the abode of the Lord if they were Mayavadis. So one question, and another is I was like astonished to read about that because Lord Brahma does know that the Lord has a form, and four Kumaras are sons of Lord Brahma. So so there's like if somebody is a father of their children, the father would definitely say to them, look, the Lord has a form. It doesn't have only like a effulgence. So that's like my confusion about this. How could they be inspired to see the abode of the Lord, meaning the Lord is a person?
Well, one thing is they were not Mayavadis, they were Brahmavadis.
Oh, Brahmavadis. Yes.
They were not adverse, they were not inimical, they were not against seeing the Lord. And what can I say? They saw this big gate. They saw this big place with a big wall around it, I guess. They saw a big gate, and because they're also little kids, I mean, there's ages and all that, but they're so we might want to say that even someone is Brahman realized, somehow the impulse of curiosity will be there, some sort of interest. We could say they are examples. What is it? Chaturvidha bhajante mang jana sukritino, Arjuna. Arto jigyasu artarti yani cha. They would be considered yani, which Krishna says are the best of the four types who approach him. So from the Gita, it sounds like you can be a jnani and then approach the Lord if you're not a Mayavadi. So, but you were saying that Lord Brahma does not know that the Lord has form?
No, I'm saying that why didn't Lord Brahma
Why didn't he tell them?
tell them, yeah, that the Lord has a form and what he looks like, he has his abode, and he's like, so they're searching for something for the Lord's form instead of just having realized the Brahman.
Well, maybe he did tell them that, but it's not recorded. The Bible tells us is a summary. The Bhagavatam is a summary of so many of Krishna's unlimited pastimes. And so it's quite possible that Lord Brahma said something that prompted them to go and find. Yeah, I don't know. The four Kumaras, it's understood, are, I mean, later in the fourth canto, the four Kumaras are identified as Vaishnava Acharyas, basically. Mm-hmm.
But there is also one intriguing thing, because them being those who realize Brahman, is that after they've seen the Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi Devi, they didn't enter
They didn't stay there.
Of the Lord. Yeah, they came back. So I was thinking maybe that's because I mean, I always have to have some reason to understand things, but it doesn't always work, because they haven't until then realized by their jnana the form of the Lord, just by the lack of fragrance of tulsi leaves traveling after the Vaikuntha into their noses, they have realized. So I was just thinking, would that be the reason why because Jai and Vijay, they got cursed and they became great enemies of the Lord, so Lord had lots of fun fighting them, and then they got back to Vaikuntha, but for Kumaras haven't entered the Vaikuntha, they went back. There's another botheration.
It's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yes, the two guards went away and come back, but the four Kumaras come in and then go back out. Does it specifically say that? Does it specifically say they left?
Yes, they came back. They came back.
Oh.
It does specifically say that, yeah.
So that's something you could write about. You can give some explanation why they left.
Oh, I may be wrong in my speculation.
You can make that into a little. You can reveal a pastime there somewhere. I don't know.
Okay, take that very much. Thank you so much.
Just a thought.
Thank you so much very much. So thank you.
Okay, so I think we're already at that time for saying goodbye. And we want to thank all of you for joining us. Let me check next week. Oh, next week we're going to be going to Zagreb. I guess we can go after, either before or after. So I think we can have a gathering again next Saturday. I won't say for sure, 100%, we can check. And meanwhile, yes?
We have a flight on next Saturday to Split.
Oh, it's Friday. It's Saturday is the flight.
Yeah, but we are there 11:30 a.m. So maybe we will be on time.
Oh, I see. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
Or we can start a bit later also. Okay. So my thanks to all of you, and I wish you all a wonderful week. And special thanks to our translators doing a very challenging task of translating the Swami. And have a good week. Stay safe, stay sane. Become sane. Let's all become sane in an insane world, right? somewhat. Sometimes a little sanity is there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Haribol, Haribol.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj ki jai.